Welcome back. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, episode 15. Okay, the reason we have a pause again is we've just been stopping and kind of mid-battle here for a number of episodes. We're fighting the Emperor Nefarious. We did die at some point after fighting him last. I don't remember what happened, but we died. So let's not do that this time.
They all love me. You all love me. I am the destined emperor of this dimension, of every dimension. This is a near over. You've never defeated me before, and this time will be no different.
Enough, Nefarious! You're tearing reality apart! If you don't stop...
Oh no! The thankless, uninspiring dimensions are collapsing! How could I?
I'm gonna die again. That didn't work at all, did it? Well, that didn't work at all. Ooh, hello. Yeah, I might die again. That didn't work very well, did it?
For Nefarious. Now everyone can finally see you for what you really are.
Come, my troopers! Let's show them who I really am!
Kid, I could use a hand! Thanks for the save!
After all this time, just to betray your emperor, Katie 7416.
My name is...
And you are not my emperor. Oh, Rivet and Kid. How utterly charming.
How do I get out of the way when he does that? It's ticking me off. Gosh dang it.
The awesome power of your one true leader. Destroy the rebel warbot. Do not let it near me.
Kid! Heavy incoming! I can't say I enjoyed that.
This isn't nearly the end of me. Not even close. Eliminate them! Now! Now! Now!
More troopers flanking! Wipe them out! Together! Let's show them how it's done!
Will not make a fool of me!
Oh, nice one! He's ruthless!
Where are my troopers? Come, my loyalists, every one of you, come together to fight for your beloved Emperor! They're all gone? Hello? No one?
Nope!
Enough! I will collapse every dimension into nothingness!
Overclocking the Dimensionator! Hurry! I can get you up to him!
Empty void! Say goodbye!
This is the part where you lose!
Ah! You really thought you had me? Get off of me, you loathsome... Please, we can win this together!
What do you know about winning?
You two really are a couple of hot shots.
Look who's talking. Ready to fix this, pal? I would love nothing more.
Hey, I'm sorry for what I said before. You're my friend, and thank you for coming back. Team? Team.
I guess it's time to go home, huh?
Yeah. Our dimension could use a couple heroes right about now.
Well, how would you two feel about making a pit stop on the way?
Where are we headed?
I think you know.
Is that us?
Okay then. Um, what's this? Let's just go here. Let's go back before the final fight, just because that's sort of
After some consideration,
where we're at, and we can fly around a little bit. So, I guess that's it. Let's get to the ship real quick.
All sales are final, honey. Make sure to tell your friends now.
Okay, so all that would be left would be,
I haven't forgotten about you, Trudy.
we'll just go somewhere else.
Staying
Just
out of trouble.
maybe we can see some bad guys while we wrap this up here. It's gonna be a short episode, which I try not to have the last episode be super short, but sometimes it ends when it ends. Okay. Thoughts? What are my thoughts on Ratchet and Clank Ranked Apart? Well, I want to start off. I should probably start off by being very clear on a distinction here that I'm going to touch on, which is the difference between bad games and games that I just didn't like. When I think about a bad game, it's something that is either, obviously glitchy, buggy, super, 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 super repetitive, something that is not up to par with what you would expect from, a game of a certain generation, or a game from a studio, or a game if it's in a series, things like that. And there's other things too, but that's what I would consider a bad game. That was not this game. I wouldn't consider this a bad game. I would consider this a game that I just didn't. And you probably could tell as we were going. I made some comments early on, and tried to dial that back a little bit as we went along. I will say that I did like it a little bit more as it went along than I did at the beginning. I was able to get past, sort of get past some of the weirdness of just the different characters and that sort of a thing. But definitely would not consider this a bad game at all. You can kind of see here visually, it looks nice. Mechanics were fine. Voice acting was fine. I think there was a couple things that I don't know if you could have done in a prior generation. So thinking about the different riffs, kind of going from those, jumping across the maps with those where you kind of lasso them and pull yourself further on. That's obviously a nice jump in technology, and I can. That's definitely was well done. So I can't say that this is a bad game, but it was not super interesting to me. I couldn't really get into it. I thought that it was a little weird for my taste, as far as just the characters were just really at times over the top. And we look at this as I think an E-rated game, so it's you're going to have a lot of kids play this. So I can looking at that saying, okay, that could definitely be where some of the over the topness comes from. Oh, jeez, am I going to die here? Yep. Whoopsies. So that could be where some of the over the topness comes from. But it just, I don't know. It just didn't. I thought it was a rather short game as well. I mean, we barely got to 15 episodes. And that's just, I just think that's an incredibly short game. Even for a game that's not truly like open world. Now granted, we didn't do all of the optional things. We did not do all the optional things, so that would have added a little bit to it, but it was still pretty short. I want to talk a little bit too about the developer, the Insomniac Games. At the time that I am recording this, this is the second Insomniac game on PS5 that I have played and reviewed. The other being Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I find myself drawing some similarities to my evaluation of the game. Spider-Man was a little bit different. I'm just not a superhero guy, so that one gets knocked there a little bit. But what I would say is, well done. Again, as I said, some of the technologies leveraging the new system. Well, at the time I'm recording this, the newer platform, newer generation was well done. Looked very good visually. Had some nice mechanics to it. But short. This and Miles Morales I thought were quite short for a game of this stature. So I don't know if that's being that these games were right at the sort of release of the new generation. Was it just sort of the first kind of foray into that, into utilizing that? I don't know. So that's just one thing about that. But I did find that interesting that I felt that the shortness of it was something that I recalled back to the Spider-Man game. Anyways, I know also too that this was not the first game in this series. I know there was one, two. I'm not sure exactly how many. I know that there's been other Ratchet and Clank games. This is the first one I've played. So part of me thinks that someone who played the other ones might look on this more favorably than I, because I do think there was probably some nostalgia. Because I think the last Ratchet and Clank game was older too. Like it's been a number of years since the last one was released. I think I did not look, but that's the vibe that I'm getting, or that's my impression or my thought as I kind of played through this. So there were some things that I'm sure that other people like. So like I'm gonna like the Captain. I'm gonna Quantum. Is that his thing? There were some of those types of characters that you saw like an alternative version of them. For people that played the first one, probably that registered a little bit more with them. Where me, it was like okay, we just got another person. So that could have led to this as well. But again, I just really wasn't really into it. I thought, some of the weapons, there was some variety with the weapons, but I don't know. Like, I just kind of found myself, when I was fighting people, there were some weapons where I started to realize, okay, this is better for them, this is better for if I'm fighting them, etc. But, I kind of found myself eventually just sort of aiming and holding the R2 trigger down until I was out of ammo, and then moved on to something else. So, and that was the thing too, it just was very, like I said, just a lot of just running around holding down R2. And to me, it got kind of boring and repetitive. Like, okay, I'm just, let me just run in a circle. Or when you'd have kind of those boss fights, it was, so here's what I'm talking about. Like that right there. That's nice. That's well done. That's a nice technological move forward. But when I'm finding some of those,
Have you seen Kit anywhere?
Not yet. She hasn't returned from her big adventure.
but
Yeah, me too.
what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. But when I found myself fighting those boss battles,
Kind of makes you wonder how many dimensions are out there, huh?
Endless
I just found myself
Powers is my favorite.
doing exactly what I just said, where I just would exhaust the ammo in one weapon and then move to another one, and it just was, it was that. So I didn't find a lot of satisfaction from the combat in this. The little side things you would do as Kit or Clank in the
Raritanium has led you straight into our trap.
This is too valuable to
where you would
it's yours.
what's the word I'm looking for? Where you would have to do like those what's the word I'm looking for? Digital guys where you'd have them like run across and get to the other side of the little thing. Those had some nice little challenges to them. I didn't like the ones where we played as that little spider bot thing. Those ones I didn't like. The alternate dimension thing was interesting, but I thought there were points in the game where it was, I don't know, it bounced around a little too much for my liking. So again, from my thought, where I think some things were opportunities missed. I have so badly wanted, maybe I don't think it exists, because I feel like I would have played it, but would really, really love to get a very AAA rated game set in space where I can fly from one planet to another like this. So I have this world here, get in my spaceship. It's not a cutscene. It's I'm flying to another planet, can land, and it's its own world, and that's all seamless. And I think came out like a few years ago. It was like No Man's Sky or something. I might have butchered the name, but that was sort of not really at the time. I don't know if it's gotten better, but the time wasn't very good.
Rivet has ever met.
Yeah.
But why I say that is
Up to the hype.
you're flying to these different worlds, and I felt like there was some missed opportunity there to immerse a little bit more in the worlds that you're flying to. They had no personality at all. Like, they're empty. I had no interest in going around seeing what was up with these worlds. None. And again, I thought that was definitely a missed opportunity. When you're going to these different worlds, give them some personality. Give them some other, some stuff. This wasn't a true open world game. Wasn't true that way, because you had a few side mission type stuff, but for the most part, you just did the storyline, and that was kind of it. Can I shoot this thing? Nope. So that was a missed opportunity, I felt. Because look, I mean, these worlds there's nothing here. Like, so it's like, if you're not gonna populate these worlds with anything of value, then why make them very big at all? Just have them little cities, and that's what you deal with. So that was some missed opportunities there, I felt. But maybe again, I said the same thing with the Spider-Man game, which was they did such a great job with New York City, but I didn't feel like you got to immerse yourself in it. And I felt the same way about this world. So maybe it's an instance where they are, again, first few games of the new generation, just sort of given a little bit of an appetizer of what could come. Maybe. I don't know. But either way, I'm not going to miss playing this game too much. Again, it was pretty well done, but it just didn't really do anything for me. It's just a little too weird. Well, definitely way too short. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I've gotten spoiled with other games, but typically your shorter games are the ones that are super story driven. They're not open world, very linear. Those tend to be your shorter games. But what they make up for in length, what they lack in length, they make up in some other areas. Again, really good story or something like that. Like the kind of the Uncharted games come to mind when I think of something like that. They weren't super long, but they were, what they did have, they did really, really well, and you wanted to play them. You wanted to keep playing it. Whenever I would stop playing this game, I never had the urge to like, I want to keep playing this. You know what I mean? Like, there was never, I got to get back. I really want to get back and play some more of that. I didn't have that with this, and I don't know if it was, like I said, just because I'm a new, kind of came in mid franchise or what the deal was, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. What else? I mean, I think the weapon thing, again, let's see here. Weapons, we touched on that. They were, I don't know. After a while, they just kind of all... When all you're doing is just holding down R2 trigger, like, does it really matter what you're doing? So there was a little bit of that. Again, I didn't even go in here on some of these things. I didn't do anything with armor. Again, it was like, what does... I mean, I kind of armored them out initially, but I didn't really do anything beyond that. Weapons. Oh yeah, those gold bolts. Obviously I didn't even use those at all. Weapons. This was really weird at first. Remember, I couldn't figure out how to remap it. And I was getting mad. Again, the map. It's just there was not. These worlds were boring. Like, there's nothing here. Like, they had no. It's okay. Yeah, you got this, which is like a little bit more of a kind of a barren area. Then you got another one that's like a city. But like, when you don't give us anything to do, does it really matter? Storyline was kind of, again, just, I don't know. Again, kids game. so you're going to be limited to some of the stuff you can do. But it was just I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too critical. Maybe I'm just being too critical. But I think that might be it. I don't think there's anything else I want to touch on. One of the things I always ask myself, or think about, is too when I rate games or evaluate them, is would I play another game? So if they were to come out with another Ratchet and Clank, which I'm sure they will, would I play it? And if the answer to that is no, then we know we have ourselves a game that's, at least in my eyes, not that great. And looks like probably back here.
Hello again.
And so the answer to that question in my book for this series, Ratchet and Clank series, is unless they made some of the changes I talked about, giving those worlds more or whatever. But if it's a similar type of game to this one, I don't have an interest in playing another one. It just didn't do enough for me. And when you think about the cost of games, to me, for this game to be a full PS5 game price, which it was at the time that I bought it, I can't justify it. I really can't, again, because I just compare it to other, what I'm getting for my money. I don't think I don't think it's worth the full price. You have some games that are less kind of heralded, or less, they're just kind of more B games that you come out and they're 10, 20, sometimes even $30 less than your AAA games at launch. And I honestly kind of felt like this deserved that a little bit. I really did. Again, this is just, for me, I thought it was short. Didn't think there was a lot to do. Yeah, that's just me. But again, well done, visually good, mechanically good. It's just that some of those other things I already touched on really held it back in my eyes. But other people may have loved it. That's sort of the great thing about. That's why they make such a variety of games. Is because I give this review and somebody else may play this and say it's one of the best games they've ever played, or this is a great game. And there's been games where I probably heralded as monumental achievements, and other people say I can't even, I hate it. I just don't even want to play it. So that's why you make the variety of games. But yeah, this one will definitely not go down in my eyes as anywhere close to a favorite. But well done though. Well done. Just not up my alley. Anyway, before we ending on that positive note, do appreciate you sticking with us if you did all the way to the end. But this will bring an end to our series, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Lots of other series out there on the channel, so please feel free to check those out. But again, thanks for stopping by if you did. That's it. That's all I got. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We're done. So come on back and we'll see you somewhere else.